Hi, in this video, I'll walk through how I built a WhatsApp appointment booking chatbot for a real healthcare client. So before writing any automation, the client was very clear about their requirements. First, they wanted a strict separation between internal and external users. So internal hospital staff would be able to book, reschedule, or cancel their appointments themselves through WhatsApp. And external clients, however, should not be handled automatically at all. Those conversations should be handed off to a human immediately, which in this case would be my client. So second, scheduling rules were non-negotiable. So appointments are only allowed on Fridays with fixed time slots at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., or 3 p.m. No overbooking, no guessing. Everything has to reflect the real calendar state. And the third was that the client wanted to retain human control where it matters. So sensitive conversations, external inquiries, and anything ambiguous should never be fully automated. So these constraints heavily influenced how the system was designed. So with those requirements in mind, the goal of the project was very focused. So the goal was to reduce manual back and forth for internal staff appointment scheduling while keeping the system simple, predictable, and easy to maintain. So the bot handles three main actions: booking, rescheduling, and canceling appointments. So it checks real availability from Google Calendar, logs confirmed actions to Google Sheets, and communicates entirely through WhatsApp. Importantly, the AI is only used for conversation and understanding user messages and responding naturally. So the system is mostly all logic, validation, and side effects are handled by the automation layer. This way, the system will feel conversational to users but behaves deterministically under the hood. Now that we've covered the requirements and goals, let's look at the high-level architecture and how the pieces fit together. So this is the system's architecture that I've designed for my client. So how it works is there will be a conversation state that would kind of direct the chatbot into understanding the current state of the conversation. So there will be three states. The first is awaiting user type, awaiting action, and external handoff. So how it works is whenever a user messages the chatbot, it will first look up sessions by phone number. So if the user is a first time messaging this chatbot, we will find that the phone number currently doesn't exist in the database. So we'll go ahead and create a new row for that phone number. It will then qualify the lead by asking if they are a staff or an external client. And after this question, it will go ahead and set the conversation state to awaiting user type. Now, if the user is a staff, it will go ahead and reply 1. If they're a client, they will reply 2, right? So the next message that comes in would probably be either 1 or 2. And once we look up sessions by phone number, since we just created a row for them in our database, their phone number would exist. So we'll go ahead and check user type. So currently, this is just the second message that comes in. So the message would either be 1 or 2. So we're going to check if the user type is empty or it's not empty. So in this case, it will be empty. And the message would be 1 or 2. So if the user was a staff, it will go ahead and update the database as user type equals staff, conversation state would be set to awaiting action, and the bot active status will be equals to true. It will go ahead and ask the user if they would like to book, reschedule, or cancel an appointment. Now, on the other hand, if the user replied to external client, it will update the sheets as user type equals external, conversation state would be set to external handoff, and the bot active status would be equals to false. It would then reply with a message saying, "Thank you for reaching out. We will reply to you as soon as possible." Now, this step is important because our client wanted to handle all external clients manually without any automation. So now let's say the staff wanted to book an appointment, right? So he or she would reply with, yeah, I would like to book an appointment. So when the message comes in, it will go through this path, check user type. Now, the user type has already been set to staff, so it's not empty. So it would then lead to either this path or this path. Now, since it's a staff, it will go ahead and check the conversation state, and now it would be at awaiting action. So this is where the AI agent comes into play. So the AI agent will be understanding the intent of the user. So since the user wanted to book, it would then go down this path and go ahead and ask the necessary questions. So the information required to book an appointment would be the name, date, and time. So once the user has given this information, it will go ahead and check availability, confirm with the user, and create the booking and log them into Sheets. Now, if the user wanted to reschedule or cancel an appointment, it will only require their name to locate their current appointment in the database and go ahead and reschedule or cancel that appointment by locating their existing event ID and finally log them into Sheets as well. And so if the user is an external client, the bot status would be false and it would just stop replying. And messages from then on would just be from my client itself. So this is the systems architecture. Next, we'll move on to how we actually build this in n8n. So this is how the workflow would look like after it's been built up in n8n. And I'm just going to go through a quick demo of our chatbot in action. We're going to first act as an internal staff, and then we're going to act as an external client. So first, we're going to go through our spreadsheet. So in our master sheet, this is where we keep track of the user's phone number, bot active status, their user type, as well as the conversation state. And in our appointment sheets, this is just to keep track of the appointment information. And here in our Google Calendar, I've added some dummy data just so that we can test out if the chatbot is able to check availability accurately without making any double bookings. So now let's go ahead and message our chatbot. So now we're just going to be acting as a staff, okay? I'm looking to book. So they're asking which Friday I would. This coming Friday, 2 p.m. So they did tell us that 2 p.m. is already booked. The only available slot is 1 p.m. Would you like to book 1 p.m.? Okay, sure. Let's see. So great, it's been booked on Friday, 1 p.m. Let's go ahead and check our Google Calendar, and we have our name at 1 p.m. booked. And let's go ahead and check our appointment sheets. Yeah, everything's correct. And so we've successfully booked our appointment via the WhatsApp chatbot. So now let's just go ahead and try to reschedule this appointment immediately. So we're going to go ahead and clear this chat. Hey. So they found our appointment at this Friday, 1 p.m. So yes. Let's see when we can reschedule it to. Let's try the following Friday, 2 p.m. is the only available slot. That would be the 23rd, 2 p.m. Great. So now they just notified us that our appointment has been rescheduled to 23rd of January at 2 p.m. So let's go ahead and check our calendar. So our 1 p.m. slot on the 16th has been cancelled and it has been replaced to the 23rd of January, 2 p.m. And in our sheets, it has been updated as well as the status has been updated to reschedule. So that's all for rescheduling. Let's go ahead and try cancelling this appointment. Now I want to cancel. My name is Xian to locate my appointment. It is 2 p.m. So then you're going to go ahead and ask for confirmation. Yes. Your appointment on Friday at 2 p.m. has been successfully cancelled. Now let's go ahead and check our calendar. It's no longer in our calendar. And in our sheets, it's been updated to cancel. Now let's go ahead and act as an external client looking to book an appointment. There. 2. So now they just gave us a reply noted with thanks. Ms. Tang will reply to you as soon as possible. Thank you. And the bot will stop replying from here on out, because in our master sheet, we've set the bot active status to false and classified the user as an external client and set the conversation state to external handoff. So from here onwards, the conversation will be 100% manually controlled and managed by the client herself. And that's it for the demo. So in this section of the video, I'll be going through how I built and configured each node in n8n. So when the user first sends in a message, it will go through our webhook and go ahead and trigger the workflow. We will then normalize the message as well as their phone number based on the WhatsApp ID. The next step, which would be looking up sheets for their phone number. So since it's their first time messaging, we're going to try to pull the phone number from our spreadsheet and it would not exist. So then it would then lead us down this path to create a new entry for the user. We're going to go ahead and update their phone number into the spreadsheet as well as set the conversation state to a waiting user type. Then the next step would be to go ahead and qualify the lead. So we're going to ask if they are a staff or an external client. So the next step would be to look up sheets for the conversation status. In this node, we're going to pull data from our spreadsheet to get the phone number, user type, bot active status, as well as the conversation state. So in this step, the conversation state would currently be a waiting user type. The next node will be a switch node. So since we are currently at a waiting user type, it would then lead us down this path above to check if the user type is currently empty. So in the spreadsheet, the user type has not been updated yet. And the message that the user sends would be 1 or 2 to let us know whether they are staff or external client. So in this switch node, if the customer replies with 1, it would then update the sheets as a HKL staff. And if they reply 2, we would know that they are an external client. And so if they are staff, we're going to update our sheets with user type to HKL staff, and we're going to change the conversation state to awaiting action. And the next node is a HTTP request node just to send the user a reply asking what are they looking to do today. Are they looking to book, reschedule, or cancel an appointment? On the other hand, if they are an external client, we would update the row on the spreadsheet to bot active status equals false. User type would be an external client, and the state of the conversation will be external handoff. And the reply message would then be noted with thanks. Ms. Tang will reply to you as soon as possible, and the chatbot will stop there. Now, once we have already determined the user type, it will set the state to awaiting action. So when that happens, the next message that comes in, assuming the customer is looking to book an appointment, they will probably say, I'm looking to book an appointment. And so it would then lead us down this path, awaiting action. And in this node, we're going to, set some fields that we need to make the appointment possible. So we're going to go ahead and set phone number, user type, the conversation state, event ID, if there is an event ID, for rescheduling and canceling purposes, as well as the message sent by the user. The next node will be an AI agent node. So the AI agent node will be the deciding what action to take. So we've given the node the AI agent a system prompt telling it it's a conversational appointment assistant. Its job is to book, reschedule, or cancel appointments through natural conversation, and they are given control to decide which tool to call and when. So these are just some rules that I've given the AI agent so that they do not, output some system message or any reply that is not meant for the user to hear. So these are the constraints of the appointments. So we only accept Fridays only at 1, 2, and 3 p.m. And these are just the steps to take and instructions on which tools to call and when to call them. And it's quite long, so we're not going to go through each step. But we've given a very detailed set of rules for the AI agent to follow so that they do not make any mistakes. And here we're going to go ahead and use the GPT-5 mini model because I found that this chat model is capable of understanding the dates. I've tried using GPT-4o, but they can't really understand the dates and they often get confused on what day it is today. For memory, we've just given it a window context length of 10 messages, and the key here is their WhatsApp ID, which would then be tied to their phone number. So the 4 tools we have are check availability, update sheets, create event, and delete event. Moving on, we set a guardrail to ensure that the output message is valid. So in this guardrail node, it's just a code node where we just, if the text is too long, then we would not let the output message go through. And, there are some forbidden words that we don't want the agent to be sending to our customers. So once this node goes through, this node is just to check if the output is valid or not. So if the output is valid, it will then reply to the user the clean text from our code node, which would also be basically the output of the assistant. And if the output is not valid, it will then go ahead and prompt the user to repeat their previous message. And here we have an error trigger. So whenever an error occurs, this trigger would then activate and it would then update our spreadsheet to true, so that when we want to do some analysis, we can look back at our spreadsheet and see if any errors occurred, and as well as the time it occurred, so that we can debug and find out where and what went wrong. And so this is basically it for our WhatsApp chatbot for our client. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask away. And that would be all for the video today. Thank you.